this is Divine Sunshine, and this is Divine Unisouls 11. This is the Playground Experience. I have my lovely co-host, April Williams and Kathy D. Today's topic is the catalyst. The catalyst. So we're on Catalina Island. That's why Kathy D looks like she's fresh from the beach. April, she's fresh from playing beach ball out there in the sand, and I look like I was trying to get a tan. Hey, now, what you say? I don't have to try that much to get that tan, do I? All right, I was at the bar getting me a little drink, pina colada, but I'm back now. So, all right, so let's talk about those catalysts. I mean, what's going on? What is their purpose? Who are they? What is a catalyst? Take it away, somebody.
Well, a catalyst is, the nice way to put it is a nice swift kick in the butt, usually. And it is something that opened your eyes to blockages, behavioral changes you need to make, how things have made how a cycle has happened. And there's usually, it's either a person that is your catalyst that moves you in a direction, or it is a situation, or it is yourself. Through downloads and things like that, you get those aha moments. And really and truly, these aha moments, little or big, are truly catalysts, because they are encouraging us, they're moving us, they're pushing us to change the outcome. And Albert Einstein said it the best: doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome is the definition of insanity. And Divine Sunshine loves that one.
I do. I learned that when I was first year in teaching. And so I said, that's the first time I ever heard that. It's like, we got to try something different to get us off of probation. We can't do the same strategies we've been doing. So we're going to clean it up and start all over again and come up with some new teaching strategies so we can get off of probation. I was like, okay, I like that. Cannot do the same thing expecting the same results. That's called insanity. Different results. That's called insanity. All right, April, what's the catalyst to you?
Well, definitely there's so many different things in life that can be considered catalysts. So like I'm going through all kinds of interesting um, upstirrings at the moment. I know a lot of us are having some stuff kind of that we thought we were done, or we thought we got rid of, or we thought we handled. We are now finding that we didn't handle it, because there's still yet a few other angles that you get to look at this from. And since you've been knocked on your ass, you can now see it from the bottom and the top. And and so here I am, holding on to what I know is my center, because it's very interesting at this level of being um, catalyst. I would say almost can come in the guise of a trigger, right? And so it can set you into a course of new levels of understanding. And as you go deeper into the self-healing work, you do get faced with what it is that you thought you had gotten rid of. And it turns out there's new levels to it. And to remain calm, because I feel like definitely the eye of the storm, but there's still all this stuff going around, and I have to like pick out the things that are necessary and keep them with the stability. And certain things, they need to go, so that's why they're being fluffed up. But I'm able to kind of clean up some ideologies and things like that. So the catalyst is the trigger with a different perspective. The catalyst is the trigger with more love or more understanding.
And clearer. It's definitely, it's clearer. There seems to be a lot of times with a catalyst comes some kind of guidance, or almost, if you want to call it, like roadmap. This is what is happening or has happened in the past. We don't want to repeat that, so you need to look at XYZ.
Yeah.
But not to be confused with a tower. Trigger or catalysts and towers a tower might start a catalyst, but it wouldn't be considered a catalyst.
I don't know. Would not, if you had a tower, wouldn't that kick you, catalyst, kick you into gear to try to do something? I'm just playing angel's advocate, not devil.
Well, it could, but a catalyst, when we look at it in science, it's to make a chemical reaction, to make a permanent change. Am I right on a catalyst when you're doing chemistry and stuff?
It just speeds up a reaction. It doesn't
speeds up a reaction. Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily make it permanent.
I missed that day in chemistry, but yeah.
I used to tutor it and all kinds of stuff. But
right along with the math. She'll be on the other side of the sandbox, folks.
Biology was my favorite. Biochem was my favorite. Okay. Like, oh, I want to think about biochemistry instead of my catalyst. Anyway. It's going to speed the change. The question is, which direction are you actually aiming at, right? So when you're having a chemical reaction, the purer the things you're starting with, the cleaner your reaction will be. And the catalyst just speeds that along. So let's say you're coming with it kind of mucky, right? We have an idea or concept about ourselves, and then we come up to place with a life-changing moment or a tower moment. Now we can take that and it's going to get the different result. Or we can add the catalyst and speed it up, right? The tower is a little bit coupled with, I think, the catalyst. Or you can then say, okay, I want to direct this, so I'm going to enter in the catalyst as needed. Or I'm going to go ahead and view this tower differently and step into it. Or I know what result I'm going towards, so I'm just going to walk there. And everything that adds to it just gets you there faster if you know where you're going. If you're just here blindly going, it's going to be a trigger. You think it's going to blah, 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 and then you circle right back around to the beginning and you do it again until you're ready to learn the lesson to get to the other side.
So would you say that when we're ready to learn the lesson is when the catalysts come in?
I think we get them whether we're ready or not.
I'm in agreement with that. Very much so. And it depends on, the higher self. Whenever they think that it's time, or source, it's time. Bring in the catalyst. Dun, da, da, da. Like, okay, I wasn't ready. Or you might say, oh, I'm ready now because this is boring me. I've been doing the same thing over and over again. When change won't come, and then walks the catalyst. Or you're like, where you come from? And then in walks the catalyst. Now it's interesting when I look at the definition according to the New Oxford American Dictionary. They say a catalyst is a substance that increases the rate of a chemical reaction without itself undergoing any permanent chemical change. So could the tower be a catalyst? Because it's not going to change. It's going to be the same thing regardless. Could that? The only thing, according to this definition, that changes is the thing that it interacted with, not itself.
But the catalyst or the tower crumbles. So the tower, when you think about it, it changes. It breaks the foundation. It rocks it. So whatever caused the tower moment could be the catalyst, because the catalyst itself doesn't change.
So, like, let's say two people don't get along. They're still in a relationship. So these people are going along, and then let's say the guy is looking at a flower on her shorts, right, as she walks by, or something like that. Or the woman is inspecting. It's a pocket inspector. I don't know. So she's looking at the wrong thing. Now this is it the act of the looking that's the catalyst, or is it the fact that they weren't supposed to, like, that expedites the process of them breaking up or them splitting up when they knew they should have split up a long time ago, but they just didn't. So is the natural look at the flower or the pocket, is that the catalyst, would you say? Like, because that's the triggering point, right? That's the thing that sets off the argument. And
that could be the aha moment,
or the lack of focus, right? Because it's not that they're looking at something else. It's the lack that they're not focusing on the other person, and they didn't really want to be with that person to begin with, but they're still
Right.
trying to force that. And the tower is just their relationship splitting apart, which we saw was falling in the first place, but they didn't really want to move the furniture. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting lost in the analogy. Somebody help! I'm drawing an analogy.
Yes, in some ways, I'm picking up, and also of how it had been pretty much going around in the circles. Is like almost like the tower is almost like they're showing me like a catapult, like one of them things like you like, whoo, and it goes, it sends them in the air and it creates that change. That's what it's thinking about catalysis. So that's why I was saying, could not the tower moment act as a catalyst to propel you to go forward when you might have been stalemate and saying, I don't want to move? It looked like to me in some way, excuse me, somebody got to release something, that you can be able to, use that tower as a catalyst to propel you to go move forward. As that one, I wasn't thinking more so as the chemical thing as well. I mean, I'm just looking at the way how the twin flame community has been throwing that catalyst thing around as if it's like something. What's the lines going through my stuff for? It's like a way of saying that that it's like something that will propel, something to push you forward. Catalyst is like catapult. That's what they were kind of making it seem more so than what you all are saying, the chemical reaction. So I think in some ways that's a good point that throughout the twin flame community, some ways it seems like we might be using that term the wrong way.
Well, and it could be too, like with April's kind of explanation of the guy or the girl. Say it's a a girl checking out somebody else's pockets. The guy gets the aha tower to see that, what my friends have said, is right. This is, she's got a wandering eyes, whatever. She's looking at other men. So then that causes the tower, but she doesn't change. She's the catalyst. She keeps doing what she's doing, but he grows from it and goes.
Just
So in
feel
that,
like just feel chicken and eggish a little bit. Like
it
which one?
is. It is. The bottom line is the catalyst is a good thing, and we
Right.
shouldn't be afraid of them. We should embrace them. I think there's some fear out there when you think about tower moments. We think, and the tarot cards from way back, don't help. Some of the newer ones are better, but there's flames and people flying out of the thing, and
Right.
so we have this fear of this. You say, oh, it's going to be a tower moment. Everybody's batten down the hatches, pulling the covers over their head, and they're not getting out of bed for a week. But a catalyst is, something that is moving you forward for your better good. So it's not. It shouldn't be anything seen as fearful.
Yeah. What's happening, April? Is going.
Well, I'm hearing and seeing and experiencing a lot of things, right? So
Okay.
yes, you want to be able to embrace the catalyst, but you also more or less just want to embrace the destination in which you're going, right? Because the catalyst, if it's not changing and you're moving faster because of it, just look at where you're going though, right? You don't want to end up in a similar space where you are, where you then get a different but same but different catalyst, right? And pushes you even further. But you're not looking back and holding on to the old scenario. You're looking forward and saying, how do I step into this properly? How do I have this with more stability or calmer emotions, or with more self-worth, or how does this not shake my feeling of abandonment and things like that? Because you're never truly alone. You're never truly abandoned. Of course, you're here for a purpose, and at least you may not necessarily fully know what it is at this time, but you don't have to know your value, right? It's just standing in the space of appreciating that the catalyst even happened. It opens up a whole new set of doors and windows for you to be able to receive abundance or to step through to have more enlightenment, et cetera, right? So that's that, because I'm going through some stuff right now, and I'm like, okay, this conversation we're having is clearly to unweave the beauty of what's truly happening in the situation, right? Because if you are in the throes of what appears to be towers and catalysts and all the stuff is going down, you don't need to stay in the burning building, right? Get out and make an assessment, but also take what you need with you. Like, I'm getting out with my self confidence, I'm getting out with my value, my worth, but I'm going to go ahead and say that that lesson, oh, I guess that's a casualty of the tower, right? This old my bag lady, right? I'm not gonna miss the bus. I'm gonna let a lot of these bags go. I might take this one with just a few memories and some self confidence and self esteem and all that stuff. But then everything else, bye. It's okay. We can rebuild. It'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they show me like a catalyst in some ways. It's almost like a pendulum, but like you said, you have to kind of watch how it propels you forward, that you don't too with the force of what you just said in your explanation, April, that it doesn't propel you to go snatch right back into that situation. You want to really be like propelled, and they catapult you or push you to go forward, and and then you can be able to walk on to your next thing. When I think of catalyst, so then let's move into a language that everybody can't understand. Let's move in. What's the purpose of the catalyst twin then?
To move us to be prepared for our twin,
Okay.
to speed that up, to speed up that feeling, that emotion, that just everything that comes with the twin, that person that makes you feel like a better person, that brings out, the good qualities in you. Now they're not going to, you know, so that would be the purpose of the catalyst twin. But I think our twins can be our catalyst just as well.
Yeah.
And I think they're truly our biggest catalyst.
Yeah, they can be. That's why it comes like a nice, just like April talked about life and spiraling, how one thing spirals into another, into another, into another. There's like an endless, beautiful orchestration of coming together, and how all each little piece together plays a part as to how we can be able to elevate and ascend and go to the next level. I think about I would say to me, my first love was like my catalyst. He prepared and got me ready for the twin. I got to a point that when I was saying this, I don't think this is going to work out. And then I pushed him to go and find his right twin. I believe the person that he's in with now is. Through all of the pain and stuff, I see a lot of kind of similarities between him and my twin now. In some ways, I see something that's totally different from what I have that I experienced with my twin. So I can see how he prepared me to get ready and to receive, because at that time I was like, just forget it. Most of the time, everybody's saying through the twin flame community is like, when you ready to reach your, excuse me, so I got to release something really. Before you get ready to meet your twin, most of the time you see your catalyst twin before you meet the one. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
do you agree with that theory, that that's usually what kind of happens, that you have somebody beforehand that kind of prepares you, and then actually voila, the real deal Holyfield appears?
Oh yeah, and it can be positive or negative.
Okay.
The one before can either be a positive situation or a negative situation, because it's going to bring that catalyst to move you forward and prepare you either to, if your thing is boundaries, to learn to set boundaries and learn to be vulnerable and learn to, as Jupiter 11:11, every once in a while I'll say, let you be submissive, and not to your fears, but to just true love.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it can be a positive or a negative. But yeah, definitely I think that it has, all had, a positive outcome.
Okay. April,
Now,
what do you I'm sorry. What
oh,
you
I
say?
just I just wanted to ask one. I know mine at the beginning was my catalyst to, well, when we first met, and now I'm seeing that where my DM was my catalyst for changes, working out, losing weight, eating healthy, all of that. Now he's doing it. He didn't do it then, but
Mm,
now he's doing it. So at different spectrums, we're mirroring each other on what our catalysts were.
okay. Okay.
Uh,
April, have you had that experience?
mm,
Or do you agree with that theory that's been floating around?
I don't really agree with the theory, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but it can happen, right? Because it's but it's not the same for everybody. I don't
Mm-hmm.
Right.
think you have to have a catalyst twin in your twin flame experience, but if you do, um, you know, look at where you're actually going, not necessarily just the catalyst, right? And then you also need to realize when it's a catalyst versus when it's the one, right? Because you want to hold on to that twin energy. Um, the consciousness of the entire planet is becoming extremely aware of itself. And humanity overall is becoming extremely psychic and tuned in with these gifts and stuff. And you know, just because you turned on your gifts with somebody doesn't necessarily mean that they're the one.
Mm-hmm.
When you have that twin experience, you have that twin experience. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you may or may not have a twin in your or catalyst twin in your storyline, but if you do, enjoy the ride. Just remember that you are aiming at you at twin level. Right? So we'll bring it back to the introspection, the self union, because when you do go into union with your other, you accept yourself and all your flaws, you accept them and all their flaws, and you just continue to grow. But that's how we do the entire world. That's the relationships we should ideally be having with each other all the time.
And you
So that
need to say that again for the back row. What are we shooting for? Because it's something very important. I think so many people are confused at, well, I have to be perfect.
yeah, that's not possible. Perfect is a definite is a word that has a definition that itself is not really possible. There's perfect for a perfect time, perfect place, a perfect. This jacket is perfect for this weather, but I'm not wearing a jacket at all weathers, right? Because the weather changes. So, you know, it's like placeholder, like normal, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
a placeholder that really just doesn't even fully exist. Even, I mean, it's going to get back into math, but zero doesn't exist. The number zero is not real. It is a placeholder for a concept. So when you get into the mathematics and the deepness of that zero doesn't exist and realizing that it's just a placeholder so that you can understand the number scale, then you start to get into, oh snap, well, if that doesn't exist, what really does exist? And it's like feeling good in this moment or being in the now or changing this moment. If you don't feel good, changing this moment, what can you do to change it so that you can get yourself into a higher frequency so you can actually enter into union of self and the whole planet itself is rising, right? In terms of vibration. So how can we now assist her, right? Because really we think it's all about us, but it's actually being of service to ourself and our planet, right?
Mm-hmm.
She birthed us for a reason. What are we doing for her? If it doesn't ultimately tie back to us and our balancement as humanity and with Earth, then we are going to just keep going with the throes of what a catalyst or oh so and so's energy or XYZ. So
Whew,
who
couldn't
are
take
you?
the hat.
Who are you? Where are you coming from? How was Catalina Island?
It
Go
was
for
lovely.
it.
A little windy, but my crown started to itch and I couldn't get to it. So I was like, oh, that's it. Got to get rid of the hat. Okay.
So yes, catalysts being the change.
So that means we can be catalysts, huh?
Yes, yes, absolutely. That's
And
what
Mm,
it's like.
I think as a soul family, we can be catalysts to each other.
true.
sometimes just hearing that right phrasing or that key sentence helps bring it all together for people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's beautiful. It works that way for each other as well. Excuse me. Ooh.
Who needs an app?
Who needs that?
Can I
So
have two, please?
yes, two please on the rocks. In the shot glass with a little tiny umbrella. Thank you very much. So it seems like, again, also like you said, for us understanding that's where the light work comes from, that we're a catalyst for change for
Mm-hmm.
everybody out there to shine that light and to be that light to show everybody a different way of as far as how they can live, how they can think when we're talking about even in love and relationships and all that kind of stuff and going into mission. That is one of the things, the main things as far as us being a catalyst change is why we've been so-called chosen for to be in mission so we could be able to create that change here on earth. We're getting ready for this new age of Aquarius or this new world order that we're stating. And being a catalyst to me is like really being able to stand against what other people will say will be the norm or their own ideologies and showing them, hey, have you thought about seeing it this way? This is a keep an open-mindedness of keeping and seeing this maybe this way, because the old way in which we're doing things are no longer serving or working. And I think also when we talk about that, like you said, which was very interesting, how you said we need to be a catalyst for our own selves, especially even on this twin flame journey. I think a lot of times we're looking outside for somebody to be the catalyst, and that's a lot of times that's an issue there, because if we can't really be a catalyst or create that change or whatever for ourselves, then that causes a difficulty that we always be looking for somebody else to lead us. And
And
I'm
that
kind
makes us almost codependent.
of right.
There are times I think we all know when we need to give ourselves a good swift kick in the butt. And no one knows that better, than ourselves. And there are times that we have to do it. We have to pull up our bootstraps. We have to be the person that we need to be on this adventure. I mean, when you think about it, the divine feminine is the leader, or whoever is, the most awakened twin, whatever role they're in. Um, we're the tour guide on this adventure. And if we don't get these catalysts that keep us moving in the right direction, then we wind up leading everybody right into the quicksand. And all that's left of us is a pith helmet. I always loved that word as a kid. That was my favorite word as a kid. It's a pith helmet. Sorry.
That's cute. We are in the playground. You can say whatever your childlike heart desires.
Yes, 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 most definitely. You sure can. So
But
yes, but you're right. I mean, if we don't, if we don't stand for something, we'll fall for anything, huh? In so
Mm-hmm.
many words when it comes to that. And I just found that, like you're saying about them being callous, it's a couple of people that I know that have been kind of like, I'm like, okay, you've been at this for kind of like a while, and every time I talk to you, we got the same conversation. It's the same people you're blaming. It's the same people you're looking at. It's the same. And so it's like, okay, what would be to me is an advice for a person that's like, I'm trying, but you just don't know it's the other people, and they keep on, they just won't let me be great. How do you tell a person how to be a catalyst in that kind of situation that it just keeps on spiraling in that same cycle?
Well, you have to let them know is that as long as they think like that and don't take responsibility for letting those people into their lives, letting those people's opinion matter or have any weight or validation in their lives, then, they're not going to. But when you take that responsibility, then you're able to see, and move on to the catalyst. But when you're stuck in that victim mentality, and that's literally what it is. First time it happens, you're a victim. Every time after that, you're a volunteer.
Mm,
Your mom talks bad about you or talks bad to you, or has I was watching one of Gordon Ramsay's show where he comes in and saves the restaurant. And this one mom had kind of talked her daughters into working in there, and that wasn't their dream, but they didn't want to let their mom down. They didn't, and oh, that's people pleasing, but and that's what it is, you've got to stand up for yourself. And if what they're saying isn't valuable or a valid statement, then you have to know what is right and what isn't, and take responsibility for what happened. Like those girls had to take responsibility that they let their mother talk them into, doing that restaurant work when that wasn't what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
But once they took the responsibility and then talked to their mom about it, she then understood that that wasn't their dream, and she didn't want to keep them from their dream. So,
thank goodness there's not a camera, right? Because
I know. Thank goodness Gordon Ramsay was there, because they would have never figured that out. But it's you have to take responsibility. And that one
so
piece of hair.
Gordon Ramsay the catalyst for that?
Yes, he was. He was, very tall, English, handsome catalyst.
Yeah.
He could bring some beef Wellington and be my catalyst anytime he'd like. But
I'm telling on you.
Well, he could bring his wife and his 5 kids too, because his wife's a teacher, so we'd have a big time.
Oh, okay. Oh, you just want beef Wellington, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I really do. I just want beef Wellington.
Hey, but you was about to add something to that. What you saying?
It's interesting because we look at externally blaming, right? Externally pushing responsibility. But one of my exes used to say it takes 2 to tango, right? And I'm like, you know what? It does. And so I just stopped and turned around and left, right? Because that was the safest way to do everything. And that's what it takes sometimes, is for you to stop, turn around, and just take a step back. And if you're so busy in the throes of blaming and you're super emotional, you need to get yourself in another mood before you even make a decision which way, or text back, or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're in a reactive, highly emotional state, you're not actually able to see anything from a bigger perspective or a picture.
True.
So if somebody is triggering you or getting you into a catalyst state for some type of reaction, some type of change, you need to then say, okay, well, what is, you can analyze the situation. What is actually triggering me, right? Why is it triggering me? Because it's usually not this moment, right? Unless you're having to physically defend yourself for survival, it's not this moment. So where is it coming from? Okay, now that I see where it's coming from, can I change the past? No. What can I change right now? And that's my reaction to it. And if the other person, like you're saying, from the earlier example, doesn't want to change, then you say, okay, I know what my options are. That means I have to step away from the situation and move about this way. That doesn't mean I can't keep an open line of communication or friendship or whatever, but that means I'm not going to put myself in a space where that person can continue to trigger these particular parts of me that I'm working on healing for myself. And then when you heal those and you end up in a similar situation or something arises, you can then see, look at that, I've grown from it. I no longer respond the same way I used to. I'm no longer affected the way that I was before. And so it's not really the catalyst that's affecting you anymore. You already had your reaction, you already had your change. It's now I can see and observe this and have a way that if somebody else is now reactive to it, I can then give them the assist, right? If they want it. Mm-hmm. Or keep on your merry way and know that you have come up, you've grown yourself, you have changed yourself. And sometimes that's a big thing. It's just acknowledging that you have changed, acknowledging that things have changed, the situation has changed. And
or acknowledging you want change.
Yeah, that's a big one too.
Yeah, because in that scenario, with the person that I know of, is they say they want it, but I don't see any kind of actions that they're, to me, on that. Not no judgment, but just looking at facts. It's like I don't see you wanting to change. You just keep on focusing in on everybody else and what they did. So I was like, I don't know if you really want that change. You go to almost what Jupiter 11 say. I think you kind of used to the devil, and I don't think you really thinking about getting out of that continuous loop of saying it's everybody else. It's always them. They didn't say
Well,
this right. They treat me right.
but Benita had brought that up, and she's like, we were having a conversation. She was saying, well, if the same thing keeps happening, but it's with a whole bunch of other people, let's look at the common denominator, and the common denominator is the one, right? The individual that's having that experience. So
Mhm.
therefore, something needs to change within that individual if they actually want something different to happen.
Right.
Right.
So I guess pattern recognition, right? Seeing if you have patterns, seeing
Mhm.
what it is you want to change, right? You can even initiate your own catalyst, right? Let's say you want to get to a goal or you want something changed in the future. You can set it up for success using tools and different ways to connect different people's resources and stuff, and just ask, how do I get to Z? But I'm letter A, right? Please, somebody show me what I need to add on to this or take away from this so I can get to Z, because that's where I ultimately know I need to be to go to the next level. So that also is like you are speeding up your process just by being open and asking and knowing that you want to get to Z. So the catalyst.
But
Um,
how were you saying that? Tell me how to get. I was here in Sesame Street. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?
Well, I saw somebody jumping on the letter LMNOP and heading on down too. So
Oh my God, where this come from? But I guess so. You do want somebody to really actually tell you how do you get there, and some of that stuff is just got to be, you got to follow your intuition, you got to trust yourself. There's not really a like a dictionary or an encyclopedia or something that you can do that, because like you always say, Kathy, each experience is different.
hmm
But I actually could hear somebody say, can you tell me how do you get there? How do you actually stop that hamster wheel of always looking at other ones? And like say some of that you can, I think with this person that I'm kind of thinking of, I think you could always kind of tell them, but it's almost that old adage, you can lead a horse to water, but that doesn't mean he's gonna drink it, because that old adage, it has told the person several times this. And so then it's not one, they show me kind of several of them that's kind of got that mindset. I might be time jumping too, that really don't understand, these callous things are like a blessing. It's like a push. Somebody come behind you and actually is pushing you to say, move forward. It's
hmm
you've been standing in that same spot for a long time. But just to be able to get in that point where you're very receptive to understanding what the real true purpose of the catalyst is. Jobs are like that too. You don't have to always
hmm
talk about people. You get there and stuff, they're getting on your nerves and the boss is on you. Well, they kind of is a catalyst moment now. It's kind of push you to say maybe you need to kind of leave the job and go someplace else. That could always show other ones. What's some other examples? I think about jobs, some other ones that don't have to do about relationships. What's another callous moment that could even present themselves that maybe somebody
Your
say, "Oh,
health.
that's I didn't know."
Your health.
Okay, good. Okay, so example is write the scenario out. So that would be
Well,
what?
if you are not taking care of yourself, um,
Okay.
doing maybe destructive behavior, and really and truly anything not in moderation can be destructive.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not taking care of yourself, you're doing destructive behavior and stuff, and then you go to the doctor and you get diagnosed with high blood pressure or something like that, or pre-diabetes. That's kind of your catalyst to, you've got to change what you're doing. You've got to make that change to get well.
Mm,
yes. Yeah.
okay.
I was
Or
thinking.
even just aches and pains. I
Right.
mean, It doesn't have to be as dramatic as, being diagnosed with someone. If you notice that you don't get up out of a chair as fast when the phone rings, or you sound like you're carrying a popping popcorn machine in your back pocket as you walk down the hall in the morning, then you probably need to do something about that.
Right, right, right. April, you were going to add on to something?
Oh, I was thinking education.
Okay.
Like, sometimes you just don't know. You just can't see or hear the perspective until you read about it in a book or it comes across in an assignment that you got, you know, um, or, you're continuing education because part of certain jobs, a lot of jobs, they want you to continue education. They want you to know that things keep growing and things keep changing. So you need to become aware of it. Um, like, for example, I have a physical disability that was created at childbirth when my mother was in the military, and they only allow you so many hours in the hospital during birth, and then they pulled me out with forceps and pinched a nerve, and I'm now permanently disabled because of that. Now, um, if I hadn't had the education, if I hadn't had this experience, because that's partially health, right? But if I hadn't had the experience, I never would have thought, well, what are alternative methods? What are some safe methods? Oh, people have children at home. People have different styles of healthcare. Like it's all not just the doctor doing this for everyone. And so, oh, midwifery is a thing. It's been around for thousands of years. Oh, and like you start to go down your whatever your Google search is or whatever it is you're doing, and you start to uncover and unveil all these things to yourself. But you also need to use discernment, right? Because the core of it is, well, we've been here for thousands of years, long before Western medicine. So people definitely survived childbirth without a hospital. so,
Mhm.
so now I know that logically this is possible. I was able to get myself to the point to be able to birth my child in our old place, and birth from home, unmedicated, did the thing. But I did have someone there that knew what they were doing and had done it for. She's one of the oldest midwives on the island. She'd been doing it forever. So I just felt comfortable just having her there. I mean, it's the same reason we have the doctor there, right? To give us a sense of comfort. They're not having the baby for us. We're
No.
doing it. I mean, they are trying to do a whole thing where a lot of people are scheduling C-sections and stuff, but that's neither here nor there. And there's also kinds of health complications where you need to have that stuff going. But for the most part, I was very blessed, and it was a very non-complicated birth. It's just very simple, and my body, because you have to get through your mind to know that it's possible. So that's why I think the education could be a really good catalyst for change, positive change, whatever it is you're seeking.
And it doesn't have to be formal education either. Education, anything that opens your eyes or piques your interest. Something you've heard on the radio or something you've seen or heard someone else talking about and you want to learn more about it. So I think sometimes we get that bad idea of education always has to be formal education. But I agree fully.
Pleasure can help you be a catalyst. Like, I like that. I'm going to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that made me feel good. I'm going to make sure other people have the ability to get there too. And this is the first time I'm non-freaky, and they go Freaky Wednesday on me.
It's Wacky Wednesday. Look, I'm on the islands. I'm on island time. Leave me alone.
Again. So yeah, I was thinking about. I was watching Red Table with Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. They was talking about Father's Day and how even parenting can be considered as a catalyst. I think about his Willow. It was two stories he had shared. Willow Smith, how she was on tour and she had that song. I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my hair back and forth. She had all that long hair, and then all of a sudden, they had went on this sign this contract for this worldwide tour. And the way Will Smith had been growing up, his father was a military dad, and so everything was very, strict. You had a structure, everything that you actually had did, and he showed him a real strong work ethic. So he's so many long story short, he was trying to pass that on to his kids. So he had pretty much did it the first child. He did it. What's the other one? His name's Jaden. Jaden, he was in between. He had gotten it too, but when it came to the girl, it was a whole different style. So when it came to Willow was like, okay, when it came to this the tour, I think she did like a couple of tours and she's like, okay, I'm finished. She's like, what you like, I'm done. She's like, we can't be done in the middle of a worldwide tour. She's like, but I don't want to do it no more, Daddy. And so he was like, well, we got all this contract. Let's kind of finish out what we're doing. And after what we get stopped. And she's like, my feelings don't mean anything. I said I'm done. And so he's like, no. So the next morning, I might be Hollywooding it. She shaved off all her hair. So that goes the end about with my hair back and forth with all the braids and stuff. So then he's like, I got the message. I've got to listen. I can't keep on doing about the parenting style of what was passed on from my father and then put it on her, that I got to really put some emotions into it. I can't just be just like fathers knows best. So that was an interesting thing, twist of how you're saying how that could be a catalyst, how she was a catalyst to him to understand that you can't treat every child the same. Number two, that traditions, the way your father raised you might work for you, but that doesn't seem like it always will work for every child that you have. Everybody's different, especially her. So he learned to. He said at the end of the day, he understood that he had to put his emotions into the parenting instead of it always being a taskmaster.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it changed the game for every one of them. After that, he came from a whole different mindset as far as parenting for the rest of the kids. So that could be a catalyst too. You try something with your kids and then you say, okay, I might have to change something. So that's also, I thought that was a good example of how it can also affect parenting. It doesn't always have to be twin flame example as we always say that it has to be. All right, April, we kind of coming around to the wrap up hour or point. Do you have any kind of activity or meditation that we can do?
Okay, so I think what would be best for understanding catalyst would be a self awareness technique and energy self awareness.
Okay, I
So
like
so what we're gonna do is just take some deep breaths. We're gonna take 3 deep breaths in and out together, and we're just going to let our start to feel our energy and build our little bubble. So let's take our first deep breath in together and out. Kind of move a little bit, wiggle because we're dynamic. Feel where you're stiff. Feel where you're completely open and free. Okay, so now that we're moving, now when we move, we know where in our body we're holding tension and where we're holding relaxed muscles. And we're just going to allow them to be. We're not going to judge it. We're just going to allow it to be. Now build your bubble of light around you. That's silver to gold to rose gold to violet light. Your bubble of protection. And let's just feel the air in our bubble get really thick. Thick like water, thick like milk, thick like cream. And then I want you to take your hands, clap them together, let them wake up, stomp your, like just tap your heels on the ground to feel the middles of your heels wake up. And then just take your hands and kind of stroke the air up from your feet like you're picking up water, invisible energy water, and you're wiping it all over your body. And let it run up the left side of your body. Then you go back down and you pick it up again and you go up the right side of your body. And you're going to go straight to the center and you're going to let that wash over you and your neck and your back. And take a deep breath. Allow yourself to feel you. Allow yourself to feel you. And I want you to squeeze your perineum, like your butthole and your lower pelvic muscles, and relax. Squeeze and relax. And that kind of gives you a sense of where you are in your center. Okay? Now just tighten everything. Just make everything really stiff. Like your whole body just really stiff and relaxed. You feel the contrast? Let's just go ahead and do it again. Let everything tighten up and relax. Now you can feel parts of you starting to unlock. Let yourself just kind of sway a little bit back and forth. So you feel where you have room for change. You feel where you're stiff and it needs more care and love. And as these catalysts come, as these things come to speed up the change, we get to direct it. And we also get to see where it's resonating and hitting in our body. So if you're feeling tightness, then you want to, and a part of your body, you want to incorporate freedom and looseness and breath. If you're feeling like you're holding your breath when these energies come at you really want to just start to dance with that and allow for the space to come in, allow for the waves of movement. Because change happens no matter what. It's just you get to develop and know you have the power to direct that change. I feel like they're pretty self-aware. You can think if you want conceptually of any tower moment that you've had or anything that kind of really makes you tense and see where it's locking you in your body. And I feel a lot of stuff happening in the heart space. So just trust. You get to trust the universe. And over your solar plexus, you know that you have the power. You feel it going through the sacral. And you just want to start channeling the energy. So move the energy down your crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, sacral, and root. And then tap your feet, let that come out and around. And come back through the crown, third eye, throat, solar plexus, heart, solar plexus, sacral, root, your feet. There you go. Release all of that. And just let the energy flow. There you go. Those those are things that need to be said. Those are tears that need to be released. So this is the flow. This is the energy flow that we are attempting at a majority of time and space. Hold that peace within you and know that you can reach whatever heights you want. Trust yourself and know if the catalyst is a good thing. Take a deep breath and trust and love and know the universe has got you. One more time with a sigh just to let out all of that extra. That feels good. I feel I feel empowered. I feel like I can hear myself. You feel like you can hear yourselves, your body. There you go. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm gonna do. Just tap it, get it back in. Tap your heels on the ground because there's no place like home. There's no place like home. Yeah. So self-aware.
Okay, this is you right there. Oh,
Kathy, do you have anything for confidence or for taking right action or trusting?
Yeah, there you can do a roadmap to life, and you literally draw it out. It almost, if you imagine it as a kid, it looks like the little Candyland map, and it's each little step is a different situation. I let someone take my power. I let someone take my voice. And as these things happen, and then you get to that point, I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm not going to let them take from me anymore. And then you change your route. So, where it would be a circle, now you're giving it. So you would write out the scenario the way it would normally happen. And then it takes you back. You're in that cycle. But then you get to that one point where you're not going to take it anymore as the outside stepping stone, and you can change the shape of it or whatever. And then you take it on up off the page to where you want it to go. And it's kind of like a visual roadmap. So in your mind's eye, when these things happen, this is where you've got to stop it and, change your direction. And that's actually a self catalyst.
oh,
I like
okay.
it. I like it.
Okay, the card that I pulled to see to help us for the collective about dealing with the catalyst here. This is the card I picked up was surrender low self-esteem, which is funny. I pulled it and that came out at the same time Kathy was talking about. And it says that you deserve success, love, and abundance. Set an intention to identify and release any remnants of low self-esteem. So again, this catalyst to be kind of comes along to kind of help you, seems like to push you along to get out of that low self-esteem thing. And that's why we're saying we should be happy when those moments do come along. They help us to create that change or pushes us to our greatest version of ourselves. Is there anything else anybody see that? I see sunflower, which is very that's actually is a symbol for twin flames too as well. Anybody else seeing anything or would like to add on to the card?
Well, there's solar and sacral.
Mm-hmm. And communication too, because that's blue back there.
Mm-hmm. But then there's the brown in the middle, and I think it's the the core of the matter, the root of the matter. We need to release.
Right.
We've got to release that low self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Through, however, for whatever situation, however the situation arises.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because brown to me.
I also see like a little.
A little what?
You see what?
Brown what?
What do you
brown
see?
means?
Oh, I said there's a kind of chain or something in the back. Like, do you see that thing behind it?
Yeah, oh, the cloud.
Across the card back there? Yeah, I see what you're saying. I didn't think about that. Uh-huh. Yeah, so in order for you really fully bloom to me, you got to eliminate some stuff so you can be able to manifest and think about also with that orange there, how you're being to connect with others. Then you can truly stand in your power. And then when you stand in your power, you'll be able to communicate that to others as well. So, because that's represented by this blue.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it's almost that chain thing reminds me of those little bracelets that people put the little trinkets on.
Uh-huh.
It's like
the charm bracelet.
Yeah, you can surrender that charm, right? That low self-esteem is not actually a charm. It's kind of holding you back from becoming who you're meant to be. Because you are not a charm bracelet, girl. You are a tennis bracelet. Let's get
Hey. Yes. So are there any excuse me. Are there any final thoughts, anything as we wrap up?
Well, I think we need to remember too, our one catalyst that we absolutely all love to hate can also be the karmic. The divine karmic can be a catalyst.
Right.
So instead of always blaming them for, well, if they wouldn't have done this and if they wouldn't have done that, that goes back to that blame. We've got to be like, okay, so I'm now taking care of me. I'm moving forward. I'm in union with myself. I'm, thank you for opening my eyes to, to this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we've got to remember that, even the karmics can be catalysts.
Yes, most definitely they can be.
All I can hear is that give it to me, I'm worth it. Give it to me, I'm worth it.
You're nicer than I am because all I can hear is she wish your girlfriend looked like me. So,
don't you wish your girlfriend could cook like me?
Don't you?
Dance our way back to the classroom because playground is over. Recess is.
So we're going to say, I think that's a nice juicy tidbit for us to say that, because I'm sure people are like, oh yes, let's get into the karma. So we'll talk about that. That's really, we already handled that, but that's another continuation about how they act as our catalyst too. We'll be here all night. And by that time, Kathy D will be sunburned and I will be too many drinks at the daggone bar, pina colada, slurring words.
But just think of all the steps you'll get in because walking from the bar out to me on the beach. See, we'll just,
I just making up stuff. I don't drink, but anyway, that's it. It'd be too much. It'd be too much. So we'll handle that on that'll be something to keep us coming for the sandbox experience this Friday. We're gonna move the time to 6. Friday at 6 for the sandbox experience for that. So that'd be 6 Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time for that. So make sure that if you want to hear the continuation, we get to the comments, make sure that you are definitely here. All right then, ladies, it has been real at this time at the playground experience. Of course, again, if you want to get some more information from Miss Kathy D, she can answer calls while she's on the beach at Catalina Island. She will answer calls there. FishLifeCoaching.com. She'll help you to learn those Jedi mind tricks too, as well. How you can do those things, practical keys to apply to your life as well. So make sure you hit her at PineappleFishLifeCoaching.com. That's Kathy D. And also, if you love those lovely meditations that Miss April Williams was giving us, contact her at MadeForThisGoldenLife.com. MadeForThisGoldenLife.com. She's from the Golden Lifestyles Unlimited. That is her company. And so if you want some of that one-on-one time to help you to meditate and levitate, you might be able to raise up from the ground too. I don't know. She might have the capability. So you can go over there and hit her up as well. And then also, you got me, DivineUnisouls11.co. You can go to me for some readings and get the I got a lot of other features that's going on over there as well. But make sure that you hit me up too to help you to motivate you through readings as far as what's the next step you need to make it to your own twin flame adventure, or how that catalyst is playing a part in your life too. We can tell that too through the cards. Also, hit us up at DivineUnisouls11.co if you would like to have your own playground experience too program, where you pick the program or you pick the topic and we'll build a program around you. So you have something that will be spiritual, hitting that part. You got something for your body, hitting that part. And you got something for your mind, hitting that part too as well. So you got all three of us. That's just for $92. You got all that. Get hit with us and get a holler as far as us getting all that good stuff and resources that we have. So if you want to check that out, go over there to DivineUnisouls11.co and get some more information as far as how that package deal goes. Okay. All right then. As always, if you like what we're doing over here, make sure that you click like, share, and subscribe to this channel so you can get the notifications when we are going live over here. As far as the playground experience for the sandbox on Fridays, those notifications will too. And then we also will have our playbacks. If you missed this, you're always welcome to see the replay as well on Divine Unisouls 11. So make sure you click like, share, and subscribe when that time comes up too. All right then, Kathy D, get us on out of here. From the island.
Yes, from the islands. Wishing you your best life ever. See you soon.
Yes, and April Williams.
Stay blessed. Stay golden.
And as always, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascended. Namaste. Namago. Love ya. All right now.
Aloha.